Erectile dysfunction is something guys tend to joke about a lot, but it's no laughing matter if it's something you deal with. And statistically, 52% of guys over the age of 40 deal with some form of erectile dysfunction. The problem is most guys don't have the confidence to go address it. Well, that's where today's video sponsor, Roman, comes in. Roman has made it easy to chat with a doctor online. With Roman, you can get medical care for ED, if appropriate, from the comfort and privacy of your own home. You can handle everything online in a convenient, discreet manner. Getting started is simple. Just go to getroman.com/SSR and complete an online visit. If your doctor decides the treatment would be appropriate, they can prescribe genuine medication that can be delivered in discreet packaging right to your door with free 2-day shipping. So if you think Roman may be right for you, visit getroman.com/SSR. That'll get you a free online visit and free 2-day shipping on your first order. That's getroman.com/SSR. There's a link right below in the description. Hey everybody, Rob Ferretti here, and today I'm going to talk about how the coronavirus, COVID-19 virus that's going around is impacting my businesses and my personal life even. I've got the 3 businesses that you know of. I've got the YouTube channel, which you're watching right now. I've got Adventure Drives, and then I've got the rental company. And you're familiar with all 3 of them. The rental company is probably the biggest impacted, only because it's got the most overhead. I've got my warehouse, I've got staff, I've got vehicles, I've got a lot of fixed overhead every month that doesn't go away if the vehicles don't go out. So I do still have cars going out, and now I'm adding more cars. It's really tough now for that business specifically because we're going into spring. Spring is when I buy a bunch of cars. And now we have this virus that we're not sure if it's going to impact society for a couple of months, a month, 2 weeks, or throughout the summer. And if it goes throughout the summer, that's going to have a much greater and a much more damaging impact on the rental company. What are we doing now to prep the cars for rental? Well, we're still getting them washed, but now we're Lysoling and using disinfectant on all the touch surfaces. So in between rentals, there's a little bit extra time that's involved to turn them around. So if we want to stack rentals every, say, 2 hours, now we have to spread them out to maybe every 4 hours just to make sure everything is cleaned, checked out, and the customers are getting a good, clean car that isn't furthering the transmission of the disease. Now, there's, I'll be honest, I'm not staying up to date on every news story about how it gets transmitted, how, like, I get it that it requires usually physical contact, and then touching your eyes, touching your nose, and social distancing is the thing. One of the things that they're saying is good is if you get stuck, like if you're tired and you get cabin fever of being in your house, go out for a drive. Well, good news, I've got a great way for people to go out for a drive. So a lot of the times, even when we're going on site, we're not making people, we're still making sign a contract, but we're not shaking hands. It's a very, very one-on-one transaction. It's not something that involves a group of people. It's a very singular thing, which is good. So I think that will help the business, especially if people have money. The problem is if people don't have money, then they're not going to go spending money, especially with all the uncertainty. And I get it. I came from nothing. I get the uncertainty that a lot of people have as far as, like, if I'm not getting paid, what am I going to do? It's not as impactful for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And I think people are going to want to get back to work and want to get this over with. The approach that the government's currently taking is to just snuff it out, right? Instead, like you have a little fire, you can blow on it, you can try spraying water on it, but it still has the potential to spread. But if you snuff it out, which is literally isolated and like a candle snuff, you put it over, it's done and it's gone. And that's really what we're doing by literally shutting down everything. And, excuse me. And my business right now is located in the town of Teaneck, New Jersey, which is like a epicenter of the COVID-19 in this area. There's like the most confirmed cases in the region in that one town. And it doesn't really affect my warehouse. People aren't coming to my warehouse. People aren't touching things in my warehouse. It's pretty isolated in sort of small communities within the town, and it makes everything in the town shut down. The governor of New Jersey shut down all non-essential businesses. I'm unclear whether or not renting cars is essential or non-essential. Who knows? We'll find out. But that's only a week or 2 weeks anyway. But if that does, I mean, I can't imagine if a customer is out on rent with a car right now and they have to bring it back or return a car, that we're not allowed to do so. We don't have a retail space. We're not a restaurant. We're not a place where people come in and peruse and touch things, and there's no sort of social impact there as far as gathering people together. So I think we're all right, but I mean, we'll have to cross that bridge if we get to it, if there's an issue. But right now, we're still renting cars. I'm working from home or I'm working from here, taking phone calls. Our phone lines are still open. People can book on the website. And if somebody rents a car, I've got 2 cars coming in now. I've got 2 Corvette C8s coming in this very week. I've got to get one in Michigan, one over in Pennsylvania, bring them back over, and then they're going out starting this weekend. So, I mean, there is still business going on. I do see an impact as far as we do a lot of prom rentals. A lot of proms will likely get canceled. So as we start stumbling into spring, instead of having a good charge, like gorgeous day, all the cars go out, I'm definitely seeing an impact there. So we'll mitigate. We'll keep an eye on what's coming in business-wise. I'm not going to go out and spend another $1 million buying cars if I don't think we're going to have that demand. It's very fluid, so we have to see how it's evolving and how quickly we get to get a hold on this. Now, I do think people are going to get cabin fever. They're going to want to get back to school, back to work, and get on with their lives. So I do see that as accelerating it. And once the news cycle switches from like, all right, another 3 cases, or we crown and start coming down and the number of reported cases start going down, people will get more confidence. They will be happier with throwing money back into the stock market, and life will slowly take a turn to get back to normal. Now, the quicker we get to that point, the better. I've seen all sorts of different responses across the world, from China to Italy to Europe now, where these populations are exploding. I feel like we got a little bit more ahead of it than anyone else. However, it's the testing thing. There's a lot of things that with this disease, you could be asymptomatic. I could have it right now and I don't know. I don't have symptoms. So that's what makes this more spreadable than other viruses. Like usually, oh, you got the flu, you're coughing, you're sniffling, you're rubbing your face. That's much easier to see. It's like, stay away from that guy. You can have somebody who looks perfectly normal, perfectly healthy, walk up next to you, shake your hand or whatever, touch something that you then touch, that now just transmitted the disease, and nobody has any idea. They don't think to, like, if every surface you touch, you're Lysoling yourself. I mean, that's a pretty crappy way to go about things. So by isolating people and shelter in place, so to speak, and putting people in their homes and saying, just, you know what, just stay away from people, keep your social distance, I think we'll get ahead of this sooner rather than later. It's my hope, at least. I don't think it impacts our adventure drives. Adventure drives, we have one in July, one in October. I've had a couple of customers ask me if it's still going on, and right now there's no reason not to go on. July is a long way away. I expect this to be done and behind us, and we'll go about our lives and enjoy a excellent drive this summer. And then the YouTube channel, obviously here, you see me on YouTube. It is impacted with the things I can go out and do, or where I can go, or things I can film, or people filming with other people. But at the end of the day, that's essentially where we find ourselves. So long story short, we're still renting cars. Phone lines are still open. Website still works. We're happy to accommodate anyone. And do you want to go for a drive in a brand new C8? Well, we're probably the only guys that are going to be able to do it next week. But I'm happy to do that. I'm happy to get these cars in the hands of the people that want them and get people out and enjoying themselves. I'm telling you, don't worry too much about the financial aspect of things. I get it's a huge anxiety for people, especially paycheck to paycheck people that are worried about, and even business owners. Business owners have a lot of overhead, and if they're not bringing any revenue, that's a very, very big issue. So just understand that the government understands that, and a lot of people do understand that. It doesn't mean your landlord's not going to be like, not my problem, pay me. I see a lot of that as well, but at the end of the day, I think there's going to be a general consensus that it would be better, instead of elongating this and making it a long process, to snuff it out. And if we can, get done with it in 2 or 3 weeks, and everything will sort of slowly get back to normal, and we can go about enjoying ourselves again. So again, go out, have fun. That's a little update on me. Another update is I was working on my house a lot for the past couple of months, and I'm now December to January, February to March, 3 months into building my house. and it looks like a house. But the governor just issued a stop work order, not directed towards me, but a stop construction order for the state. So I will not be able to continue progress on my house until that gets lifted. So that affects me both personally and just sort of throws off my timeline of when I was going to get my house done. It affects the subcontractors. It affects everybody. I mean, everybody wants to work. When the world comes to an absolute halt, everyone is very eager to get back to business as usual and making money, because not everybody is prepared for something like this. They tell you to have 5 or 6 months worth of wages saved up just in case a rainy day. This is unfortunately a global rainy day, and not everybody is prepared for it. So just understand that there will be options out there. The government will step in. That's why we have a government, is to A, keep as many people safe as possible, and B, allow people to make it through crises like this without getting evicted and ending up in the street and ending up on government assistance. So, Rob Ferretti, thank you for watching. A little update, coronavirus, COVID-19, it's probably going to be demonetized, but that's where I am. That's where my companies are at. That's what I'm doing to get through this. I'm washing my hands. I'm keeping my distance the same way anyone else does. But like, you could still be social without sort of hugging and slapping and high-fiving everybody and just being a little bit more aware. Statistically, 99% of you aren't going to get it. And the 1% that does get it, statistically, 99% of you are going to be just fine. So it's really, it's not that the sky is falling. It's just something that we're trying to get ahead of as a globe and get it behind us and move on to the next thing. Rob Ferretti, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. So you guys are familiar with my other company, Adventure Drives, right? Well, this year we've got 2 trips coming up. One, which is starting in Seattle and ending in Jackson Hole in July. That's going up through the Canadian Rockies, coming down through Banff, Yellowstone, Glacier National Park, and Grand Teton National Park. It's going to be phenomenal. Also, we're going to be going to Scotland in October. We're going to be doing Scotch distilleries, playing golf at St. Andrews if you want to do that, walking around, seeing lakes, waterfalls, driving the North Coast. It's going to be an amazing trip. Prices start as low as $2,500 per person for the shorter trip in Scotland, about double that for the longer trip in July. If you're interested in going, check out the link in the description.